thanks so much for doing this. And yeah, I think it's really interesting that you moved from, you were a bar manager before you moved into this role?
Yeah, I mean, a variety of different, I guess, bar roles. I worked between Sydney, Montreal, London, New York.
International.
But worked brand side as well for a long time over in the States. So yeah, I had a pretty good, like, all-around grounding of a lot of different facets of the industry, and came back here kind of for a few years at the end of 2018 after being overseas for the best part of 5 years. And yeah, fell back into bars, running multi-site operations, first for QT hotels and then helping set up Crown in Sydney, and got to the end of a 2-year stint with Crown kind of when they got bought by Blackstone, and thought I'm pretty sick of working for other people. And went from there.
And what was it obviously like, it was your first time setting up a business, right?
For myself, yeah. We first set up a consultancy. I think as a lot of people do, it's an easy step into working for yourself.
Was it still called Dispatch?
No, so it was the Antipodean Hospitality Company. So which still exists. We hold on to, I think it's only 2 long-term clients at the moment, because that's about all I have bandwidth for. But
there's so many consultancies now as well. Like, I think there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, and I think we looked at it from a more overarching kind of standpoint than a lot of other people do. It was, how can we look at first your venue's financials, and then pinpoint where you actually need help throughout your food and beverage operation. Sure, we can come in and write a cocktail list, which is what a lot of people do. But is that cocktail list going to be profitable? Is it going to make your venue money? Is it going to engage your staff, your guests, and all the rest? From that, is your procurement all set up correctly? Are your contracts all written to set you up for success? From that, looking at your staff costing and your wages, is that all kind of in line? Looking at everything kind of as an ecosystem, but always from a point of, can this positively affect your P&L, as opposed to, I guess, putting out good drinks, which lots of people can do. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we were lucky. We picked up a few clients. We kind of ran with that for a while. I think the biggest thing that gave me was time to explore a lot of different conversations. It's a really hard thing to do when you're 5+ days a week in service.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're tired. You're constantly trying to kind of manage your health and either get to the gym or your fitness and stuff like that to offset kind of a lot of those late nights, being on your feet constantly, the drinking that goes with it. So that gave me time. It gave me time to explore a lot of really interesting conversations with a lot of interesting people who I got to know over the years. And that led to us, myself and 2 current business partners, starting 2 whiskey businesses. So first a private cask fund, where we went to market and raised a good portion of private capital to invest in whole casks of whiskey as an investment vehicle.
So you sort of buy them off distilleries? Or?
Yeah, we're just distilleries directly and brokers. I think in this country we're lucky that the industry is really young, still fairly unregulated to a degree, and there's a lot of good value to be found. We also, it's called the Australian Whisky Fund. We wanted to support the local industry as much as we could. And a great way to do that is literally by buying stuff. For a lot of distilleries that are still in their startup phase, like, I mean, 5, 10, however much for a cask goes a long way to them being able to continue their operation. Yeah. And a lot of these distilleries, we bought multiple casks. So looking at kind of 3, 4 casks for each distillery. So yeah, we've got a good little portfolio. We kind of sit at about 45 casks, I think.
They must be almost ready for bottling at this point.
No, so that was about 2 years ago. By the time we got everything kind of set up There was a good amount of reticence, I guess, in the Australian market on the back of kind of a few other kind of dodgy schemes around the world. Again, like that cask market is pretty fast and loose, but also with stuff like Nant and what happened with the empty casks. So we made a real point of flying around to every distillery who we wanted to work with and getting to know the guys, introducing them, I guess, to ourselves and how we saw the relationship developing. And that was really key. So by the time all was said and done, the casks have been sitting there for about 2 years. Most were new make, but there are a few that are kind of at varying levels of maturity. So again, we've got a minimum of 3 years kind of till they can potentially start being bottled. Whether we bottle them ourselves remains to be seen. Basically to give ourselves the best chance of exiting successfully at the end of that 5-year term that we tied the money up for. We started a bottling company as well last year. So starting to bottle mature whiskey and build that brand up so that if push comes to shove, in a few years we can start just buying casks directly from the fund, bottle them through the bottling company, and at that rate of return that we need as well, but knowing that we have a customer base who can effectively purchase those bottles.
Does that mean you can put your own brand on the casks that you own?
The casks we can't. So I think you look at any independent bottler.
Sorry, after they've been bottled?
Yeah, as long as we, again, similar to any IB, as long as we reference the distillery, where it's from, the cask it was in, dates and all of that stuff, which is the transparency that you want as a consumer anyway, and we want to give that. Like, no one knows, grab a bottle. No one knows what Wayne's whiskey is, but everyone knows Linkwood.
Right.
So we went and bought a 17-year-old barrique of Linkwood at cask strength and just bottled that straight. So like it's within our best interest to obviously reference a distillery that has a lot of pedigree and everyone likes. So we'll continue on with that. Like that's a first iteration. It's always good to get the first one out. I think it gives you a starting point. It's never going to be perfect.
Oh, absolutely.
And we've just consolidated a bunch of our Scottish casks under the one warehouse with a business called Volpe and Castillo, and they do kind of integrated bottling end to end. So we're looking to get kind of a more developed pipeline this year. We just bought a really cool Glen Elgin that's just almost sitting at 14 years, and probably by the time we end up bottling it, it'll have ticked over. And we're really stoked with that. I think it was finished in a port pipe. Anyway, I should know that. I bought it a couple of days ago. But yeah, we're looking for stuff, I guess, that's funky, a bit left of center, fun, but like fun is the big thing. Like it should be fun. Our branding is kind of, we got a local artist, Lignita, who's a sculptor, to do some of our artwork. Worked with a really cool designer, Justin Streeter, to bring that to life. And yeah, I mean, it's something we wanted to have fun with, kind of following along the lines of like Whiskey Sponge, Whiskey Land, those guys who bring a bit of brevity and frivolity kind of to whiskey, which is what it should be. It shouldn't be so serious. So serious whiskey, but in unserious kind of format. And we'll keep going with that, finding cool stuff that we like, both overseas and onshore. And it'll be an exciting little side project to develop.
Yeah, I didn't realize. It sounds like you've got your different fingers in a few different entrepreneurial sides of the beverage world, not just distribution.
Yeah, I guess, like coming back to it, time was a big thing. Like I had time to explore a lot of these things. And look, I mean, consulting can make you a lot of money if you set it up properly. I guess for me, what it did is it gave me kind of a degree of consistent work where all of these fun things I could look at delving into and starting to set up. And I guess Dispatch, our distribution business, was one of them. A chance coffee with a friend kind of turned into a conversation about helping bring some agave spirits to market. And I was just like, well, I mean, this isn't my business. I can help write some pricing strategy through our consultant company and put you in touch with a couple of people. And he kind of turned to me and said, is there any reason we can't do this ourselves? And I went, well, no. I mean, we can do anything, I guess. And we looked at the market a bit more. It's a fairly stagnant market. Distribution is in most countries. It's not overly exciting. I think there's a pretty big disconnect with definitely the on-trade into what distributors do and what gap they fill. So we kind of saw this opportunity to, again, I mean, flowing on the theme from something like Wayne's Whiskey, like make it a bit more fun, make it modern, inject some things we believe from a moral, ethical standpoint into the business, and also work with brands that were like-minded, and build something that was both sustainable and representative of, I guess, where the market is now as opposed to where it was kind of 20 years ago. So yeah, I roped a mate in who did that really successfully. My business partner, John O'Toole. He did that really successfully in Asia Pacific, with the business that he successfully exited, and he was living down here. Somehow got him back in, and yeah, we've been trading for a bit over a year now, and yeah, it's been a slog, but it's getting there.
Yeah, I mean, you've grown so quickly. I think your network has probably helped with that, but yeah, you guys grew very quickly, which is awesome to say.
Yeah, it's yes, yeah, we have grown quickly. It's again kind of a business that's always built on relationships, but there are so many barriers to entry with a business like this. I think it's a hard time to be starting a business regardless. You used to be able to go to a bank with a business plan, and they'd fund that. The banks are a lot harder to get on board, and they need proof that your business is working these days, which you'll know well, I'm sure, or will very soon. So harder to get the banks on board. There are obviously huge barriers in terms of getting bonded licenses, your excise being so high. It's a really cash flow heavy business. And to have those reserves in the first part to burn through it's obviously hard to get funding. So yeah, we're lucky that kind of we're at a point where we can say we survived our first year of trade, and definitely in the latter half of the year started to really kind of hit our straps, and we're in a really positive position, I guess, at this point, starting a new year, where we're expanding kind of at a rate of knots, both with new brands, personnel in kind of new states, expanding out to WA and Queensland, which is good, and also just getting a bit clearer messaging and picture about what Dispatch is, what the brands are that we represent, and how they get both into bartenders' hands, venues' hands, and then consumers' hands at the end.
I'm curious, besides funding, was there any other struggles that you ran into that you didn't foresee?
Oh, mate. I mean, I could...
or some of the biggest ones.
Yeah, there's a laundry list. I think, look, hindsight's always a bitch. I mean, you always look back and go, oh, we should have done X, Y, Z.
Well, it's like the building blocks. Like you can, once you've done it once, like if you were to redo Dispatch the last year that you've done, you'd figure it out pretty quickly. Just because you need to make those mistakes, you need to go through those challenges.
Totally. I think we'd make a lot of different mistakes, but there still would be. But yes, it would definitely be smoother sailing. I think looking at global logistics, time on water for stuff to get here, and the speed has slowed dramatically kind of since COVID. So that was something that we would probably change in our forecasting. And again, then you're just consistently running behind the eight ball with your cash flow, your projections, and all the rest. I think that is the big one. We'd probably get more money in the door to start with. I think, again, year one probably would have been a little bit easier if we had a bit more backing. We kind of had a number in mind. We went light on that, thinking it's better to get started than to wait.
Oh, absolutely.
And yeah, look, I mean, you make it in the end, don't you? I think you sacrifice a hell of a lot to get where you need to, and we're still sacrificing. I mean, like as founders and owners, we paid ourselves something in November after the best part of 12 months, and finding ways to make it work. So yeah, look, there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into it, but as you said, like, that's all pretty necessary. It's good to have those failures and those learning opportunities, because if you can learn quickly from them, and to use a horrible corporate word, pivot really quickly, then it's going to be a hell of a lot better for you as you move forward.
I've got a little segment which I want to do. Dispatch has got to take on a new product. The twist is they're all pretty horrible products. You've got a wasabi liqueur.
Sick.
Or a garlic-infused gin.
No one needs another gin. So I'd go wasabi liqueur.
All right. Now you got to choose between a wasabi liqueur and a bubblegum and vodka. Bubblegum and bacon vodka.
Bubblegum and bacon vodka, definitely.
Over the wasabi?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I think your ability to put that into shit canned shots and sell it way higher.
All right. So you've got bubblegum and bacon vodka or lavender and hot chili tequila.
Bubblegum and bacon vodka.
Bubblegum and bacon vodka or a smoked salmon whiskey.
Bubblegum and bacon vodka.
All right.
Now it's a tongue twister, trying to say that 3 times quickly.
I didn't foresee that one. Bubblegum and bacon vodka or cheesecake cream liqueur.
Oh, that could also do well. Flowing on from like a Bailey's thing. Cheesecake cream liqueur.
All right. We've got cheesecake cream liqueur or pepperoni pizza schnapps.
Cheesecake cream liqueur.
Cheesecake cream liqueur or a tofu vodka.
Cheesecake cream liqueur.
Cheesecake cream liqueur or a kimchi brandy.
Cheesecake cream liqueur.
And last one, we got a cheesecake cream liqueur or a cotton candy bourbon.
Ooh. Cheesecake cream liqueur.
Yeah.
I think has legs.
It's got potential.
Anything with that like element of sweetness that you could put in a mass marketed shot. Think about Bailey's and what they've done.
Yeah. Well, Disaronno tried to do it with their velvet. I don't know how that went.
Never tasted it, but yeah. I mean, some stuff works, some stuff doesn't. But like the potential for mass market kind of domination is with easily recognizable sweet flavors, huge. In a liqueur or something, mint.
Unreal.
Yep.
All right. What have we got
That said, I'm not going to rush to either make it, stock it, or flog it.
No, the point was they're all pretty not great.
Yeah.
But
that could work. Cheesecakes are greght.
What do you do when you're not doing anything like beverage related? Do you have any like hobbies or interests outside of hospitality or beverage?
Yeah, loads. I mean, look, you'll know this well. I think starting any business is pretty all-encompassing, especially that first year. You're waking up kind of in the middle of the night in cold sweats with stuff that jumps into your head and are we going to go under tomorrow and all of that. So look, that is very all-encompassing. Fitness is big for me and health. I mean, over the years, played sport at various levels. I don't do any organized sport at the moment, but yoga, Pilates, swimming, running, getting in the gym and picking things up and putting them down.
Dude, you got to come to Bit of Miles. Freddie Branca's started a little run club.
Sure, love to. Let me know the details.
I'll send you an invite. It's
Yeah.
like I think it's like every 2 weeks.
Yeah, sick.
And then it's like just different places around the city.
Wicked. Yeah, love that stuff. But yeah, look, keeping fit, reading a lot. I've always been a big and avid reader. I love going to the movies by myself. That's like a really nice escape. And I kind of picked that up a long time ago, I think, when I was traveling a lot, and it was just a nice little activity to kind of recenter. Travel in a big way. We're really lucky that, I guess, with work domestically, I'm on a plane way too much. November was, I think, 10 flights, so fingers crossed I don't need to repeat that for a minute.
Are you staying at other locations for a while, or is it like just go there, business meeting, come back?
Look, a lot of it's a couple of days in market. So, like, obviously being in markets where we don't have people at the moment. Up in Queensland, we're lucky that we're starting to see kind of uptake all the way down to Byron. From Brisbane, and definitely on the Gold Coast and Burleigh. So a couple of nights in that market. Over in WA, where we're starting to really see some traction in Perth. We work with Liquid Mix over there, big wholesaler. And then down to Melbourne regularly. Over to Adelaide every now and then, that'll increase this year. And then looking at kind of a few of those smaller, I guess, states and territories. It'd be really cool to get up to the Northern Territory this year, and obviously down to Tassie, and then obviously all the coastline and interior areas in between. There are a hell of a lot of people that like good booze and drink good booze, so we're keen to get out to them. So it's nice to see a lot of the country from that standpoint. I guess we're lucky that we work with a lot of imported brands, and seeing a lot of the world in that stead is really cool. A lot of our brands are centered around Europe, but we're starting to import from Mexico. We just picked up Mi Gente tequila. The US, we have one or two things we're looking at. Obviously, Takamaka with the Seychelles, where we do at least one brand trip there every year. And starting to explore kind of what Japan looks like as well. So I think I'll be there in February. So,
wow, looking at with some whiskey.
Potentially some whiskey, yeah. And again, it's nice having businesses where there's cross contamination. So yeah, there are some exciting things over there. Japan's one of those nice places where you need to be there to get the business done. And again, that's not the worst thing. No one's going to turn down a Japan kind of work or leisure trip. So yeah, look, travel, I guess is another big one. Reading, I'm getting back into writing. I've gone like this over the years. I've written for a bunch of publications. Australian Bartender, Riddle Magazine, Diageo.
What do you love about writing?
I guess it ties in with my love of reading. It's just, it's an outlet. I find it really cathartic. I think I started writing in a big way when I lived in New York, and because it was, I don't know, like any new city you move to, it takes a while to kind of ingrain yourself in that, and to have an outlet to really put your thoughts down on paper, or to see, to help other people see what you're seeing is kind of cool. So I got into it in a big way there. Again, it went through a lot of different iterations, writing for myself, writing for other people, writing about the bar industry and not about the bar industry. And then I guess, I think it was last year, kind of when Substack started to really gain a huge following. Started a little Substack, which has all of 40 followers, I think. But again, last year was so kind of jam-packed that putting stuff out and giving myself time to write was really difficult.
Yeah.
So that's something I want to get back into this year, looking at, again, I guess just observations about the industry for one, our business, how that fits into the wider world, and a lot of different things that kind of industries that both interest me, but also that I see a lot of collaborative opportunities with our business and our brands, whether that's fashion, music, sports, anything.
Can you talk a little bit about like the process of how you take on a brand?
Yeah. I think we go through, there are a bunch of different checkpoints, I think.
And sorry, just to finish off, and is it the same for every single one, or is it kind of like something that you have to navigate brand to brand?
I think it's always something you navigate brand to brand. Nothing's going to tick every box. You want like 5 of those 7 to really get you excited about something. I think it's similar to like say you order a cocktail in a bar. You look at it first, you drink it with your eyes, and that gets you excited first. Then you might smell it, and then you might taste it finally. So I guess the first thing we usually see is packaging, because that's accessible on a computer. That, or people send us, we get samples from all over the place. So, but again, first thing you're doing is looking at it. Does it look good? Is it going to look good on a back bar? Does the bottle feel good in my hand? All of those little things. Are the labels nice? Are the stoppers nice? Does the glass feel nice? Or whatever else it comes in. All of those little checkpoints. And then can you see application? Is it going to stand out on a back bar? It could be like really nice but pared back branding that like in a dark bar will just get lost. Is it going to stand out there? Is it going to stand out on shelf in a bottle shop? Is it going to look nice in someone's home bar? So that's first. I want to say taste next, but honestly, that's usually the last part. I think you can get through a lot of the process by not tasting something, and then you kind of know by the end with what you've read and everything, is it going to be good or not? We look at numbers. To be frank and boring, it's got to make sense. It has to fit at a price point that we can usually have at least one SKU that can get into a cocktail. Given like cocktail pricing these days, we usually look at about a $25 cocktail as your baseline, and then running at 25 to 30% COGS for a venue. Can we get 30 to 60 mils into a drink, and will that work for a venue? And you look at that from a flat pricing perspective, and then you have to add in all your little things like duty, freight, exchange rates. If we're importing something, the AUD has not been kind to us the last few years. So how's that going to affect things? And is this something within a competitive set that we can see a place for? If it's at the higher end of the spectrum, is there enough advertising and promotional budget to potentially discount down? What's the brand doing overseas? What other markets are you in? Do they have a robust export strategy? Are some of the things they're doing cool? So all of that we kind of look at and take into consideration. I think with Dispatch, a big thing at the beginning, we always said we wanted to have a big ESG focus, environmental, social, and governance. Again, coming back to us injecting our ethics and morals into what we do, we want the brands to be representative of that. So whilst not all of them do the same thing, everyone's doing something. Takamaka just transitioned their distillery fully to solar energy that they run off, and they do a lot of work donating back to ocean conservation, but also working with local farmers, especially on the main island of Mahe, buying all their sugar cane up, so that's kind of a regenerative cycle. Muyu donate back to reforestation in the Amazon. Two Drifters is a carbon negative distillery, and I could talk for days about those guys. They do some really cool things, and they make delicious rum out of that hotbed of Devon, hotbed of rum production in Devon, the UK. Rene, B Corp and carbon neutral, upcycled Burgundy grapes, which they distill in Beaujolais and then send over to the UK into another B Corp distillery. So every brand, I guess, is doing really cool stuff. Mejenta, female led and B Corp. I think the only B Corp tequila at the moment. But everyone's doing something to give back, and that's something we look at as well. And we always ask if there's something that really interests us. Okay, all of this makes sense. The numbers make sense. Packaging the booze is delicious. What are you doing? Usually that's part of their story anyway. So it comes out pretty easily. But it's definitely a component that we look at. If it's just, I don't know, Mark Wahlberg's tequila getting made at some shitty nom, then we don't really care.
Yeah.
Regardless of how much money it's potentially going to make us. I don't think Fletch Huzzle is going that well, but hey.
Unreal. Yeah, it's almost like you're not just looking at a product, you're like back engineering it.
Yeah. And as I said, nothing's ever going to tick every single box. You've always got to make some concessions. But also looking at stuff like, where's it from? Can we consolidate with other products that we have in that area to, especially kind of as we grow as a business, we're generally not putting full 40-foot containers from one brand on the water. So how do we get as much from different brands into that container? Like Amsterdam's a really big port for us through Amsterdam Warehouse Company, because we have about 4 brands that warehouse through there. So we can put get an 8-pallet order into a 20-foot container and get that on the water, and that'll get to us quicker than if we have to wait for containers to be filled.
Ruby, how exciting was getting that?
Oh, stoked. I think we were obviously big fans of the brand for a long time, from back in the Bulletin Place days. And we've seen them develop as a business and start to, I guess Aperol had a huge kind of moment, like push for the spritz moment. And Ruby were there at the right time and have such a high quality product in such good packaging, and it's local. And there's such a huge push to local spirits in the Australian market with the market development over the last kind of 30 years. So yeah, we were stoked to pick that up, but we were also really excited to develop and see what we could do with the brand, and help them kind of get in more people's hands and be that first kind of call, either off a back bar or out of a bottle shop, not just for the spritz moment, but as a modifier, as something over ice with soda water. There are so many different applications for it, which is something we love about a number of our brands. They're not one-dimensional. So yeah, we picked them up in August. We had a really hectic kind of run into Christmas with them, with a lot of big activations. And we're really excited for a big 2026 with them.
Did you pick it up because of the it's lost me who had them before?
Vanguard did before.
Vanguard.
Yeah.
Was it just like a contract end, or did you look into like a reason why they were not with Vanguard anymore?
I think, without going heavily into it, I think businesses change over time. And I think Vanguard's one of those businesses that started as something. Obviously, when it sold to Lion, it became a different business in a lot of ways. But they're obviously owned by a big multinational, and they're focused on different things. And some of the smaller brands in their portfolio, they're just not as well geared to manage and develop. And I think there was an opportunity for us to come in. Again, it's a huge pull for us with where we are.
It sounds like Ruby wanted to stay independent.
Yeah, they're not owned by anyone, and so all the brands we represent are independent. They're not owned by any of the big guys, because they all have their own supply chains. But yeah, I think we were just in a good position as a business with our where we are in our life cycle and our growth trajectory, but also where they are, and things just aligned, and it seemed to be a good fit. So again, it's been a good kind of few months with them. It'll be really exciting to get into 2026. We're in all our planning kind of stages with all our brands at the moment, and to look at what the year looks like, how we can build on kind of some strong transition months there, and really catapult the brand and get it in more people's hands, because it's delicious.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've got another segment.
Sick.
Let's do it. So, Aaron, you're back in the bar managing. Mm-hmm. You've got to choose between some bar luxuries.
Oh, okay.
So you can either have a vertical rinser or pre-chilled glassware.
Pre-chilled glassware.
Taking pre-chilled glassware over a vertical rinser.
What is a vertical rinser?
It's like...
that probably would have been a better question to ask first.
So, do you know how when you've got like shaker tins and they're dirty?
Oh, like the...
And you can just push it down.
No, definitely pre-chilled glassware.
Pre-chilled glassware.
Yeah, you can use the tap.
Yeah. You got pre-chilled glassware or a ISI whipper. So like the...
Yeah. Pre-chilled glassware.
Pre-chilled glassware?
Yeah.
Pre-chilled glassware or the... like a smoke gun.
Pre-chilled glassware. I love how smoke guns come back into vogue. Are they a thing now again?
Yeah, the flavor blaster smoke gun's huge.
Those things. Okay, it's like everything that was naff is now now new again. I love how everything goes in cycles. No, definitely like pre-chilled glassware.
Pre-chilled glassware or cocktails on tap.
Ooh. Pre-chilled glassware.
And you've got pre-chilled glassware or a custom ice stamp.
Pre-chilled glassware.
Pre-chilled glassware or a custom bitters and tinctures library. Like all your
pre-chilled glassware.
Pre-chilled glassware wins. Unreal.
Wins every time.
Love it.
Yeah, I think you look at like all of that other stuff is noise. I think the only thing if you were running a high volume venue, then cocktails on tap are super useful.
Yeah.
If you're pumping stuff out left, right, and center. But at the end of the day, I mean, you're looking for cold drinks at a correct dilution, at a good temperature, that are tasty. Pre-chilled glassware is going to help you get there.
That's so interesting. I've done this like segment with a few different people, and everyone's got a different answer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the others are wrong. But no, I think it depends what type of bar you gravitate to and what you want to open. But I mean, for ease of use for me, yeah, pre-chilled glassware would be up there. Freezers are mint.
What's something you're quietly proud of that doesn't really get talked about? It can be like personal, business.
I think just like getting to a point where you can pay yourself consistently from a business you've started is, that's something to be proud of. I think it's very difficult to get there again with, especially when you have employees, because they always come first. And I think we lived that through 2025. Again, I think I mentioned before, we didn't pay ourselves till like the back end of November. And we're still on a percentage of what our salaries should be to kind of help get us through. But it's when you have other people you're responsible for, to be able to build that community and build a workplace in that way, but then also get to a point where you're sustaining yourself and it's something that works, that's something to be proud of.
Let's do the third segment.
Okay.
I've got trend or trash.
Okay.
So is it a trend that you reckon's sticking around, or is it like overhyped and it's not worth it?
This is going to be great. I think most things are overhyped.
All right, so trend or trash, we've got hyper-localized ingredients behind the bar.
I think that's a trend that'll stick. I think we've been gravitating there for a long time. I think localized, maybe not hyper, maybe not like the patch of grass outside of your bar and the kind of foraging thing, but yeah, stuff that's local, definitely.
All right, we've got cocktail subscription boxes.
Oh. No, that has legs. That's been going on for a minute. People like that. People like the interactive kind of at-home stuff.
Augmented reality bottles. I don't know if you've seen the bottles where you like scan with your phone and they start like talking to you.
That can get in the bin. I think that had a moment like a couple of years ago and everyone was just like, oh, sick for cocktail menus. But no, that's, I think, look, great example, someone like Compass Box. have a QR code on the back of their bottles, which takes you to a flavor wheel that shows you every cask that has gone into that bottle. Something like that I find really cool and a good use of technology. Anything else, no.
Yeah.
No.
There's a right way to do it.
Yeah, I think, AI, I think we try to steer clear of as much as we can with what we do with Dispatch, not just because it ekes into your brain space, but it's also a huge drain on the environment, which isn't something we believe in. And I'm a firm believer in you get more out of actually doing the work. So it's better for it to take maybe a minute or two longer, but you actually do the work because there's reward in that. So anything that kind of cuts that corner, I'm not a huge fan of.
Clarified cocktails. Milk punch clarified
I
cocktails.
don't think they're going anywhere. Everyone loves them.
Yeah, sticking around.
Yeah, they still pop up on lists, and I think they're going to for a while longer.
Functional ingredients. So what I mean by that is I've been seeing like cocktails with like electrolytes or probiotics or vitamins.
Oh, like the whole nootropics movement.
Yeah.
There was a big push over in the US for a long time with kind of CBD cocktails, and when that all came around. I think that's probably a fad. Yeah, I think it makes sense, but at the end of the day, like without cutting any corners, like everyone knows that booze is bad for you if you drink a lot of it, and especially over time. I don't think throwing lion's mane or something into your drink is really going to offset that much.
Yeah, agreed. Cocktail aging, barrel aged cocktails.
Again, something that's kind of come full circle. Nah, I mean, sure. I don't see much use. Like, I guess, sure, it can add a different flavor component. Maybe it smooths out some edges more than anything. But I think the beauty of living in this day and age is that we've got such a vast array of products that can do that job for you. Whether it's...
You can get those characteristics from a bottle anyway, so...
Totally. Maybe you're looking at smoothing out the edges of a Negroni. Grab a bottle of Ruby, which is like a fair bit softer than something like Campari. You've got like an array of aperitifs and aperitivos that can kind of have that same effect. It's a nice gimmick. It's a nice story to be told, I think it'll continue to go in cycles, but nah.
All right.
Leave the barrels for whiskey and rum.
Last thing, and we'll finish up. What's next for Dispatch Imports? What's on the cards for 2026?
I think really establishing ourselves just as a considered player in the market. I think that takes a bit of time. It takes a bit of time for that messaging to get through, both to the on-trade, to the consumer. Definitely a bigger push into off-premise, whilst keeping kind of our bread and butter, which is the on-premise, and growing that business. Looking outside of major markets, I think we're really excited. Everyone says that people aren't drinking these days. Mate, drive half an hour west or half an hour up and down the coast, people are fucking punishing piss. So looking at the less hyped kind of places and centres where we can give a hell of a lot. I think you look at the inner city of Sydney and Melbourne, and they're battlegrounds, and you've got the big brands throwing brand dollars left, right, and centre at bartenders who are happy to lap it up. And there's not a whole lot of loyalty there. I think if you look to develop those relationships kind of outside of those really concentrated centres, there's so much to be had, and there's so much kind of on offer to develop, and that's what we're excited for. I think consolidating our portfolio a bit. I mentioned that we just picked up Mi Gente. Stowning comes into our portfolio under a kind of a really red hot new packaging, which we're really excited about. One of the only distilleries in the world still doing floor malting, and they've obviously got such big pedigree in Denmark. So those guys we're excited for. Maybe one or two other things to come in, but they're conversations that are ongoing. Developing our team, getting more kind of spread throughout the country. I mentioned WA, Queensland. Having kind of more bodies in place in key markets is really cool. And yeah, I think they're the big things. Just really like being there for venues and listening to what they need, what bartenders want, what they need. And it's such a silly thing, but my partner got a flat tire last night, and of course called an RMA, roadside assistance, and it ended up being just around the corner from our place. So at some point I kind of went out to chat to them, and this dude was just lovely and took the time to show Kat how to change a tire and stuff like that. And NRMA have rebranded themselves as a help company. And I think distributors get a bad rap because it's been so much about sell, sell, sell. And sales is such a dirty word for most people. At the end of the day, we're in a business of problem solving. We're trying to solve a problem for whether it's a venue and how they potentially find creative ways to sell products, or the consumer and finding ways to drink it. All of these things, they're just problems to be solved. So I guess we always try to tell our guys, like, forget how much you can sell in, that'll come down the road. But how can you help a venue, and what problems are they trying to solve? If we can do that effectively, then everything will flow on from there. But let's first come from that point of help, how we assist people, because that's the business that we're in. It's hospitality at the end of the day. Like, you guys are trying to do one thing, and we also, like I just said, sales is a dirty word. What are you doing over the bar every day? You're in a high volume sales capacity. You sell cocktails, beer, wine, spirits, food, experiences. We're just doing the same thing, and you help people realize that and attain it. It's what we're trying to do, just with the on-premise to you guys, but also off-premise retailers and how they can do that for end consumers. So yeah, that's I guess what I'm looking forward most to, having more clarity in how we do that this year. Coming from 2025, which was about establishing ourselves, survival, getting through the year to a point where we now have our feet under us, and we can, I guess, look to do all of these kind of both fun, altruistic, but also exciting things that we can do with both Dispatch and the brands that we represent.
Unreal. Aaron, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for letting me pick your brain. And yeah, you've got a lot of experience and wealth of knowledge that you've shared.
Thank you. Appreciate it.